Hi, I'm Ian Lawrence here at Lawrence Podcasting Service to talk to you about geoengineering, what it is, its pros and cons, and bring you into the discussion today. So, then, what is geoengineering? As you very well know, scientists everywhere have found evidence that our planet is warming, with potentially disastrous consequences. One of the methods proposed is geoengineering. To combat warming temperatures, geoengineering tries to reflect sunlight and heat back into space before it hits Earth, thereby cooling the planet. Some methods that have been proposed include albedo enhancement, which would increase the effectiveness of the ground and sea by adding iron to the ocean or using pale-colored roofs. Stratosphere sulfate aerosol, or aluminum oxide, or various other things could be added to the stratosphere in order to reflect light before it hits Earth and send it back into space. But these have only been proposed and not put into practice yet, many say, but some disagree. Climate scientists have proposed these theories in order to combat global climate change, but they have not been put into practice, so the mainstream media says. But there are some splinter conspiracy theories about that saying that geoengineering is actually occurring today. You know those trails that jet planes leave up in the sky that hang around for a very long time? Some believe that those, in fact, are laced with chemicals, while others say that they are just condensation trails. Condensation trails result from when, at a certain temperature and humidity level, the jet turbine releases water vapor back into the atmosphere, creating a contrail. But others say that that jet engines today cannot possibly produce contrails, and that they're actually laced with chemicals in order to do geoengineering with the atmosphere, and that the U.S. government is covering up many things regarding the use of chemtrails. Sites online such as Geo-engineeringwatch.org are promoting this theory of chemtrails and their profound significance on the atmosphere and climate today, but most people don't agree with that. These sites also attribute much of global warming and climate change to actually the geoengineering methods used by the United States government, saying that it is causing temperatures to warm and global weather patterns to change. That being said, a renowned Harvard climate scientist named David Keith has said that if chemtrails were actually true, that they would actually increase the temperature of the planet, since many planes fly in the troposphere, not the stratosphere, and that would alter global weather patterns and increase global warming. And even in relating to that, some have said that it is not in fact climate engineering, but a secret weapons program implemented by the U.S. government. But most people don't agree with that. Even if geoengineering is being implemented today, there are still some pros and cons that have been discovered through climate studies done by many people, including the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change. They have stated that you will need at least 20,000 tons of sulfate into the atmosphere over a long period of time, which is a lot, considering that it is going to be widely dispersed over a large area. Also, most planes fly in the troposphere, and there's been no proposed method that would combat climate change using geoengineering with planes in the troposphere. Its pros include that it's relatively cost-effective, and it'd be a lot easier to achieve than trying to make people cut down on all the CO2 emissions that are being emitted into the atmosphere at this present day and moment. But there are some problems. Geoengineering may help us for some time, but it won't save us for the long term. Also, most planes fly in the troposphere, and there's no feasible way in order to reduce. I believe that geoengineering can be a possible idea to be used, but we should mainly rely on reducing carbon emissions. For carbon emissions are what the driving cause of climate change is, and until we stop, they will still be. It is I believe that geoengineering is a good idea in some circumstances, but we can't rely too much on it, for it won't get us very far. What we really need is to decrease carbon emissions throughout the world and make sure that countries become. I believe that geoengineering is a good idea, but may have to be. May, I disagree with the people who believe that geoengineering is being implemented in the atmosphere at this present time in being, because there is ample evidence to show that in certain circumstances, jet engines actually do produce contrails, and that there would have to be result in a huge conspiracy between the jet airlines and the U.S. government that probably could not be feasible. I personally believe that geoengineering is not being implemented. Cutting down on carbon emissions should be our main goal, not implementing geoengineering. I personally believe that geoengineering is not being used at this moment, for there must be a huge conspiracy between everyone in the jet industry business and the government that has to be covered up relatively well, and so I disagree with this. Some people worry that implementing geoengineering on a global scale could cause litigation between nations, as they claim that somehow something's affect. We know of no known effects to human well-being regarding sulfate aerosol implementation if it is into the atmosphere. But if we do find a problem with it, we may have a very hard time stopping. Using geoengineering as a new journal for a geophysical research study has pointed out that if we stop doing geoengineering after a long time, temperatures may spike, causing global havoc throughout the globe, as the climate cannot cope with the sudden increase in sunlight and heat. All these methods, including stratospheric aerosol implementation and the albedo effect, are relatively low-cost ideas that could possibly work in the future, many climate scientists say. But there are some people who believe that geoengineering is being used today and is harming the environment disastrously.